We're going to go back to Bengaluru. That's a Raj Bhavan. The oath-taking ceremony is taking place.
ಯಾರೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಅಥವಾ ಪರೋಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ತಿಳಿಸುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ಬಹಿರಂಗಪಡಿಸುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ದೇವರ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ, ಶ್ರದ್ಧಾಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ದೃಢೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ.
Critical is the distribution of portfolios, because I'm sure they would all want meaty portfolios. Also, do you have any idea? Okay, I'm going to go back to Aksharab. So we were talking about the ministers who are taking oath. This is the first cabinet expansion. 24 of them have taken oath today. And it is important because there were some who have been skipped out, some of the senior ones like B.K. Hariprasad, R.V. Deshpande. But there were some, for example, who were given a miss in the first round of oath, which took place on 20th, which is Dinesh Gundurao. All of them had decided not to attend the oath-taking ceremony, clearly being upset at not being made ministers. But that doesn't mean that a sulk has ended, because there are still some who, like B.K. Hariprasad, expected that they would be included. But the question which I was asking Akshara, and which I'm hoping to get an answer from him when he rejoins us, is the portfolios. That becomes critical. Harish, we were talking about, portfolio distribution. That's really what I want to talk about now, because Harish, that also matters. Obviously, everyone would want a meaty portfolio, including possibly D.K. Shivkumar. Any idea on that? Harish, if you can hear me. Okay, I'll try and connect to Harish, but a little dwelling on the portfolio, because once you've inducted the ministers, the headache doesn't really end there. The problem is also that most of them would want meaty portfolios. Harish, I was asking you about the portfolio distribution, because that becomes the next big challenge. Obviously, everyone would want a meaty portfolio. Would that be an easy walk?
Well, absolutely. In fact, what we do know is that most of the portfolios have been decided in this meeting that happened over the last 2 days in Delhi. The thinking within the party is that one person shouldn't get more than one ministry. And that's perhaps why you will have D.K. Shivkumar perhaps settling for the water resources portfolio or the power ministry. In fact, he had asked for either water resources along with the Bangalore development portfolio. But that's unlikely to happen is what we understand now. Because remember, this is a full-fledged cabinet, has 34 ministers, including the chief minister. And many of them being senior leaders would be seeking a high-profile portfolio. And giving 2 or 3 such portfolios to D.K. Shivkumar alone, the party believes might disturb the balance. And that's why he will either settle for water resources or energy department is what we understand right now. Also, several senior leaders from Bengaluru, so they will have to be managed as well. So the Bengaluru development portfolio, which is considered heavy duty because of the sheer budget that's there for Bengaluru and the high-profile nature of that portfolio, perhaps will mean that one of the ministers from the city will end up getting that ministry.
Okay. What about those who've been given a miss yet again? I mean, are there protests taking place? Have you been able to speak to them or their supporters? What do they plan after this?
Well, there was a minor protest here outside Raj Bhavan, but the party has spoken to several of the senior leaders who have missed getting into the cabinet this time around. Many of them have also been told that there will be a reshuffle, perhaps 2 years later, and then many of them will be accommodated. Some of the senior leaders who said that this would be their last election, they haven't been given a berth. This was one of the arguments of D.K. Shivkumar, that if there are senior leaders who've been in the cabinet at least 3 or 4 times before, and if they've said that this is going to be their last election, there is no use giving them a cabinet portfolio, because they should get back and work for the party, and we should groom youngsters or younger leaders should get cabinet portfolio. This was one of the arguments. And perhaps that's why you see the likes of someone like R.V. Deshpande, T.B. Jayachandra, all these people missing a cabinet berth, and instead many other younger leaders have got a cabinet berth this time, several first-time ministers as well.
But Harish, how much of damage, this is just for our assessment, how much damage can, say, a sulking B.K. Hariprasad or an R.V. Deshpande can do? Because now the focus will also shift towards the Lok Sabha elections.
Well, Pallavi, if you look at the names who've been left out, especially of senior leaders, they are not mass leaders. For someone like R.V. Deshpande or even B.K. Hariprasad. B.K. Hariprasad has absolutely no standing in terms of the reach towards people. So they believe that he can be pacified, not much of impact on ground or among workers. Even R.V. Deshpande has said this is likely to be his last election. So they don't believe that it would cause any damage. In fact, several other senior leaders who missed cabinet berth are here at Raj Bhavan now. It's only the others who they believe might damage the party, so they're being pacified. Not too many of them. Putran Shetty, remember, he defeated Somana in Chamrajnagar. He was miffed, but you had Siddaramaiah quickly pacifying him, and he's been assured a deputy speaker post. So the party ensuring that wherever they believe that there's a strong leader who can have impact on ground and is miffed because of missing out a cabinet berth, those people have been spoken to and ensured that they don't really rebel on ground or create any trouble. Also, they are mindful that they've got a large chunk of Lingayat votes because of Lakshman Saudi and Jagdish Shettar. So we do understand Lakshman Saudi has been spoken to by the cabinet, and he's been assured that once he puts in a few years in the party organization, he'll be accommodated whenever there is a cabinet reshuffle. Most probably Jagdish Shettar likely to be given some sort of a post in the planning committee as well. That's what he's been assured right now, because the party believes that it would send out a wrong message if both of them are immediately made part of the cabinet.
Okay. And I remember when Rahul Gandhi had met the Congress president, he said, I'm not going to decide who's going to become the CM, but his wish list was that SC, ST, Dalits, women, all of them are accommodated. Considering a large number of women voted for the Congress party this time in Karnataka, there's just one woman minister.
Absolutely. It's a huge letdown by the Congress party. And remember, this time, whether it's because of promises that they've made or because of Priyanka Gandhi and her appeal and campaign here, the Congress party has done well in those seats wherever the women now voters have in fact voted higher than men voters. Despite that, as you rightly mentioned, just one representation in the cabinet, and at the same time, the fact that Lingayats have voted in a large number for the party has meant that the Congress government in a very long time has given 8 cabinet berths to Lingayats. At the same time, they've remembered that the SC community has backed them to the hilt. If I'm not wrong, around 35 seats that the party has won out of 51, which means they've voted en masse for the Congress party. In fact, all the SC seats have been swept by the Congress party. So around 9 seats given to the SC community. Both these communities together, Lingayats and SC community, have walked away with the lion's share of cabinet berths here. In fact, just 2 Kurubas, contrary to the perception that Siddaramaiah would be having his own community members in the cabinet, the party mindful that that can't happen. And just 2 Kurubas in this particular cabinet.